Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Two Geek Talk. I have returning once again, Jared.
What's going on?
And we've been seeing, just like last time, a bunch of insanity on social media.
The Superman fandom has been insane. Gasp!
But it's gotten worse. Can we be honest? Or at least it's showing its face more and more lately. It's
I would say so. I would say that's accurate.
Especially with, okay, last time we talked about Mom and Pa should be alive or dead or whatnot. Turns out that was the tip of the iceberg, wasn't it? Because now you're starting to have a lot of John Byrne hate. And there's other things Byrne deserves hate for. Yes, of course. The kissing of underage girls, for one thing. But
that's an understatement.
But there are things you shouldn't blame him for, like the reboot. He was willing to continue.
Because any writer, given the opportunity, any writer that was, if Robert, if you were writing Superman at that time, they would have told you, we're rebooting you. You have to undo all this stuff. You have to ground Superman.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, it was needed. But we'll get to that. But turned out it was Marv Wolfman, Steve Gerber, and Jeanette Kahn who all called for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And people always thought, I've always remember people always said, oh, Byrne took so much from Wolfman. Not really.
Yeah, not really. No.
Now, granted, he did take credit for the Lex thing, which was a Wolfman idea. That was true.
Yeah.
But the whole, now, did Byrne add his own embellishments and flourishes? Yes, of course. But the whole, he's the last one. There are no others. Let's talk about that. What was Jared, from your own research, what was the state of the Kryptonian survivors pre-crisis?
Were there Kryptonians? I know what you're talking about. The fact that there were so many super. There was Comet the Super Horse, Bappo the Super Chimp, obviously Crypto, Kara.
Krypton and Kandor, I mean.
But at a certain point, they were like, okay, we got to simplify this because otherwise we can't call him the last son of Krypton.
Yeah, there was just so many. And that technically, Jor and Lara are alive.
Oh, yeah.
They're just stuck in a kryptonite ship that, Superman can never get to, and it would kill them if he opened it. So they are stuck forever in stasis.
Oh, boy.
Still alive.
Yeah, are they? They're Schrodinger's aliveness.
Yeah, well, no, they are literally alive, but they might as well be dead. But you have things like that, and it's like, come on, but then you have, so it makes sense, of course. Now, granted, did that take away a lot off the table? Yes. But what did post-crisis do? They found ways around it. We got the Matrix Supergirl. We got the alien city of Kandor.
Yeah, what it really seems to me is like, look, they kept the stuff that they could keep, but got rid of the stuff that were, because here's the problem. You see a lot of this with like first off, a lot of the people making these claims probably were not alive that time period. No. I wasn't, but I understand the significance of it. But it's like, look, I understand the reasoning why they wanted to do it, but because it's like, as you and I have talked about many times, Robert, on my show and on your show, these guys have to understand that not everything from like not all the comic booky stuff is going to translate not only into the movies, but into the comics nowadays. Because if you want to keep the Silver Age stuff, the people that say that Superman's boring because he's too powerful are going to have an infinite amount of ammunition.
Not only that, though, but look at my thumbnail. There's a point where Superman declares himself King of Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
And people like to bring up, oh, you're getting rid of all the Mort Weisinger era stuff. First of all, Mort was, from what I understand, an ass. From what I understand,
he was. Yeah, exactly. He, according to, and they said this in the original 2009 DC documentary where where like, and it was kind of funny. Neil Adams told this story where he goes, he told Mort Weisinger, you're a very angry person. He goes, and then he said, Weisinger told me, imagine you wake up to this face every day. Are you gonna be very cheerful?
Yeah, and Mort was the guy who had the mindset of every 5 views you can retell the story, and they would because people phase out.
Mm-hmm.
You have people bring that up all the time. That was Mort's mindset.
Yeah, and to a certain degree, I get it, but it's like, I mean, maybe 5 years is a little too long. I still say like 10 years, it's open game. 10 years, go ahead, because at that point, people have either forgotten or enough new people have come on that you can justify that.
I mean, his mind is like, they're not going to be the same people.
Yeah, I understand what he's coming from. And it's like, but when you get to Crisis, because here's what people forget. Pretty much all of the books rebooted after Crisis, particularly like Wonder Woman. Everyone loves that one. Me too.
Yep. And even people say, but Batman didn't. Batman ignored anything.
Batman straight up did. Actually, you know what? You know what Batman did, which in my mind is worse. By worse, I mean it's more like
it did not.
It straight up said it didn't happen. It's like, no, it didn't happen.
Yeah, basically
they gave acknowledge it. It's like, pretend that didn't happen.
No, I kind of get it. But for many people, they did think Batman didn't get good until Denny, which is fine. A lot of stuff you really couldn't use. Morrison would come along and prove you could.
Yeah, it's because what Morrison was able to do is take like Zur-En-Arrh and take it and kind of morph it into, it can fit, you just have to mess with it a little bit.
You know, like a lot of the really zany stuff was actually Batman having a breakdown after the whole Robin dies at dawn.
Yeah, and I think the other thing he said is like a lot of the really zany stuff is also when Batman was like on a drug trip after creating the Zur-En-Arrh thing. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. It's like we shouldn't take everything as literal canon.
Yeah, but it's like with Superman, people forget that, like, wasn't the panel that everyone references of Superman carrying a solar system on a chain,
or sneezing and blowing it away,
where he shot tiny Superman out of his fingers?
Yep. New powers as the plot demanded of it, and the way they looked at it was, we'll just decide what to keep later.
Yeah, and I'm like, at a certain point, you gotta realize you gotta reboot it, and it's like, I get it. I get that people were upset that like they stripped away a lot of stuff, but here's the thing. The stuff that they could salvage, they brought back, because the way I kind of think about it, what probably was the practice was, let's start fresh, let's strip everything away. Then we can evaluate each thing item by item and decide, can we fit this in?
That's exactly what they did.
That's the way to do it.
When you get both Crisis, it was a step above Golden Age in its power. A step above.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Well, he flew.
He flew, but his strength was more closer to Golden Age.
Yeah, it's essentially, it's like they added the powers that makes that allows him to do stuff, but isn't like really out there.
Exactly. And then they had to expand stuff. Like, I always loved the bioelectric aura that Byrne added. I like that. Which explains why he can actually lift something and doesn't snap in half, because he's extending his aura.
That's cool. I like that. But it's like, you see, that's what you kind of have to think about. It's like, it'd be one thing if they didn't bring any of that stuff back in. They clearly did.
Byrne brought Mixie in.
Yeah, it's like look, it's like, because it's like, what they would probably like is because, Robert, what's the reason for a hard reboot from an audience perspective?
Starting fresh, a fresh jumping on point.
And are you going to be, say you have never read Superman before and you're coming in after Crisis, they've rebooted everything. Are you going to pick up a Superman book if you have to understand all this other BS that comes with it? No. Exactly. That's my point. That's my point there. So it's like, they're like, let's start fresh. Let's start the bare bones. What do we need for him to be Superman? Okay, now let's build it back in. Now,
exactly. That was the whole point of it. And I think these people who complain forget about it. And they really do not understand. A lot of stuff get put back in if you actually paid attention. They brought back the wife beater from action number 1.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, Robert. 99% of the people on Twitter haven't read the comics.
But you get my point, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I said, action number 1, the wife beater. Jurgens did a story about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then took it a step further.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, guys, if you pay attention, it actually does work. Now, these people upset that it's not so zany and lighthearted. Well, let me put it this way. People want to complain about the James Gunn thing. I compare James Gunn stuff more to Batman and Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, it's because that's what they kind of did. They modernized Silver Age a lot like how Grant Morrison's Action Comics modernized the Golden Age.
Exactly. It does enough zaniness, but keeps it a few steps in reality.
Yeah, so it's like you could buy that like this character exists today, and it's like it's like these people. These are the same people, Robert, that treat Superman like he's always been the like smiling idiot.
No.
That's why they're upset, because they know that post-crisis Superman got dark a fair amount. I'm not going to say a lot, but it was like a frequent amount. I'll say that. I'll say a frequent amount.
And the people who complain about that or try to say, oh, but Batman's the Chad. He kept it all. Again, we just proved. No, they didn't.
No, they explicitly said no. Because if he kept it all, Batman will be giving people tours of the Batcave.
Exactly. Denny O'Neil made a lot of stipulations, and I gotta be honest, his ego might have been a little full of himself, where it's like, nothing came before my stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
A little bit of an ego, but the fact is, when Morrison decided to bring it back, it was a game changer.
Yeah, because it proved that you can bring that, you can like have that in the actual comic canon, and it makes sense. That's the key.
Yeah, it was the big. People were like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, like Zur-En-Arrh. And here's the thing, Zur-En-Arrh, it's like he goes, "Yeah, that Batman exists, and Batman had that adventure, or like something like that." But it's like he also created a like other personality and stuff. So he still he said that happened, but I'm gonna take relatively that concept and like morph it so it fits within a realistic Batman.
Exactly.
That's why it's good.
Exactly. But that's why you needed that filter.
But remember, here's a very different scenario, Robert. Here's why. Let's compare that with the Grant Morrison, like bringing in Silver Age stuff, and the John Byrne. John Byrne was under an editorial mandate to trash everything. Exactly. Morrison was more like,
oh, he pitched it. He pitched it.
Do what you want, Grant. Do what you want, Grant. Because what people forget is that by the time we got to Zur-En-Arrh, he already had a very successful Batman like series going on. So they're like, yeah, go ahead and do it.
Exactly. Like bring in the Batman of all nations. Bring in this
exactly.
Stuff. If we trust you.
If Byrne had his way, he probably would have kept more than he did.
He said he would have kept Superboy.
Yeah. So it's like, look. It's like now, and I understand that like some people read that and they enjoy those stories more. You know what? That's your prerogative. Yeah. But don't like needlessly attack something you don't understand. It's the same people that attacked The Dark Knight Returns.
It's also the same. Then you have some people try to say, but try to then give too much credit to Jerry Siegel, saying like, oh, his Krypton. He didn't do any Krypton.
All he said, and you know what? I'll be right back because I have a reprint of Action Number 1.
He doesn't even say the name.
Let's read it, shall we, Robert?
I will read it. It wasn't even called Krypton.
It says, as a distant planet was destroyed by old age. Never says Krypton.
Exactly. When was Krypton named? I'm looking that up.
The earliest, I think, is the cartoon, the early cartoon.
I think either that or nope. It was a newspaper strip.
Ah, okay. So it wasn't even in Action Comics number 1.
Exactly. Now that most of what we know about Krypton was expanded by other creators, and then he just was forced to work with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, did he expand on something? Like, yeah, Jerry did create Superboy. There's no argument there.
Yeah, exactly. But people really have to like calm down and be like, okay, here's what you need to realize about this. It's like here's the thing. People critique stuff like Jeff Johns's Green Lantern. We'll get to
that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because look, it's like you take all this stuff for granted, but you don't forget that there was a time when this stuff didn't exist.
Oh, trust me, it's hard. It's very hard to, when some of this gets so ingrained in such, like Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, it's very easy to forget.
Oh, trust me, it's like that was the biggest culture shock when I first came into like comics, because I was like, oh wait, this wasn't always a Green Lantern thing. This wasn't always a Superman thing.
Exactly. I mean, nowadays you might have people who might think because of Absolute, Raish is a Superman villain.
Yeah, exactly. You'll imagine that. Exactly.
I will not be surprised now. Are you? Would you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Apparently the first comic naming was Superman #1 for Krypton. But yeah, again, people like to give too much credit. And again, the Weisinger era, did that come up with a lot of stuff that would stick around? Yes, but that wasn't because of Weisinger. That's just because they struck a chord. How many of those things that were tossed that got dropped? Probably more than we think.
Yeah, exactly.
All those new powers, all the different kryptonites. Okay,
him having a horse.
Well, Comet lasted quite a while, but Beppo, not as much. People are more likely to remember Titano than they are Beppo.
Well, remember, the only time people are ever going to know who Beppo is Superman and Lois, her friend that runs the newspaper. That's what that's a reference to.
Yep, but otherwise they're more likely to recognize Titano. Wouldn't you agree? Because that's
exactly.
That's more the sympathetic King Kong, like,
yeah, exactly.
Then Beppo, like, But yeah, you have that, and then let's bring up a different similar topic. Now, runs that we could drop. The fact that you're now having people wanting to get to say they sooner would drop, keep Morrison's Batman and drop Jeff Johns' Green Lantern.
Hello, Kyle Rayner fans. How are you?
That's the one that I've noticed. When you really, really look into it, these people try to act like they have all these evidence, but then you really boil it down, 90% of them is for one reason. It could be any reason, but it could be one reason. It could be Kyle. It could be Snyder. I'm just as an example. Just as an example. It could be, New 52. It could be.
Why would it be New 52 though?
No, I'm saying people who feel like that's the one and only way to go. I'm not saying that about you. I'm saying about other people who are more diehard about it.
Yeah, but it's like when people realize that look, Kyle got bland as time went by.
Yep.
And look, it's like at a certain degree, it's like that's why they gave Jeff the opportunity to redo this.
What I meant was with New 52, I meant when you boil things down in any argument, these comic Twitter arguments, is what I mean. You get what I'm saying? Like if you boil it down, you'll eventually realize like, oh, those people really are just upset about one thing, and they've just built all this other stuff to justify their hate. Anti-life justifies their hate. But yeah, it's just like, again, like I said, let's stick with the Kyle one. When you really boil it down, it's these people are upset that Kyle is no longer the sole Green Lantern, but they don't remember this. One, they were already starting to build up the core.
Yeah.
After the Ion event, when Kyle became Ion, he used that power to restart the core or the lantern.
And I think people are like thinking, I was talking to you about this earlier today, that I think people see like Sinestro being like covered in a yellow aura or in like a suit that looks like his Sinestro Corps suit and assume that's where the Sinestro Corps came from. Or like even with Guy had that ring. So I'm like, no, that wasn't a Sinestro Corps ring. That was a Weaponer of Cord ring.
Yep. He didn't personify it into it until he found, and not all the entities and everything. And people forget this. Kyle did not have the yellow impurity.
No, he didn't. That was purged.
That was purged. We didn't know why, but then it was later retconned. Oh, because Parallax was gone, but that was a retcon.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, that's what, and say what you want about Jeff. He pulled off one of the most impossible things to do in a comic. Completely redeem a character, but don't discount what they did. He was like, Hal still chose, but he was also being severely influenced.
Exactly, and that's what even Batman says. You really expect us to believe you, all that. It's like, I don't care what you think, Bats.
Yeah, and I'm like, Oh, okay. That's what I was like, okay, you actually did something very, because normally the stuff Hal had done at that point, there's no way you would have been able to redeem that character. A lesser writer would not have been able to do it.
But he found a way. Even with the Spectres were trying to redeem him, it wasn't going to work.
Because the Spectre is kind of like intense. Let me put it to you that way. So it's like, but it's like, yeah. But the point is like people assume that like all the cores, Jessica, they've all existed for like ever, and I'm like, no, they haven't. It seems like they should, right? It seems like they should, but they didn't.
But definitely not. Definitely not. And then it's just you have that. But not that. But people think about Sinestro. Sinestro was not a great villain. He was a generic villain. You know, going back over it, like when Pikachu and I went over Green Lantern Emerald Dawn 2, we were groaning at how Sinestro was handled. We're just like, what the hell made the Guardians think he would deserve it?
Well, for one thing, when he was the villain, he's too much like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and even in Emerald Dawn, when they try to give more to him, it's like he blows his top at everything. It's just like, I prefer the Sinestro who treats Hal like a friend.
Yeah, and it's like even one of my favorite interactions of them is like when you get to like, let's say like,
I think the end of Jeff's run is when he said it.
It's near the end. It's like almost near. I think it's the last time they actually speak.
That was the last
according
issue
to Jeff's timeline.
Yeah.
It's like Hal asked Sinestro, were we ever really friends? And then Hal goes, yes, we were. You will always be my friend.
And that's the sad part is, and I prefer that because again, throughout all this, I keep getting this vibe of when I look at this, I look at Sinestro as he deserved the lantern and the lantern ring. He earned it and just lost his way. Look at Emerald Dawn 2, Sinestro. It's like, how the hell did this guy get the ring? And the biggest example was, you know what? You know how things were in Kurgar? He had banners and statues to him. And I'm like, okay, Sinestro may have an ego, but not this egomaniac.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he should not have it be where he demands stats. Because one, he knows if anyone comes by to Kurgar and sees this, they're going to immediately assume the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, flags are one thing. No, statues are one thing. Banners and flags?
All hail Sinestro!
Again, a statue here and there, okay, that's fine.
You can statues of Hal Jordan, I'm sure, because he's a hero. I get it.
But flags and banners!
That's where it really gets like, no.
That's when you're like, what the hell are we looking at here?
Yeah, of course they're going to think he's a dictator.
And not that, but you had Sinestro freak out when Hal said, I sent people to come here.
Sinestro Korea. That's so good, Pika. That's true though.
But then once he finds the Hal says, and they treat it like Hal's like, I just contacted help. I'm like, wait, you idiot, no! Oops. As opposed to, you know what, and Sinestro did this going too far. It's like that. It's the writing. Now, granted, they didn't think much about the characterization, but that's why in my mind, I'm so disappointed Jeff never did Secret Origins 2. I am still disappointed he never did that, where he gave us the fall of Sinestro. Now I have to guess it. Because now I have to guess it probably happened very similarly, minus the whole Hal being in prison because of the drunk driving.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. But it's like, again, it's like people take for granted all this stuff that, like, because I used to think, I was like, wait, you're telling me all these cores didn't exist prior to this run?
Nope.
Because here's the thing, it seems like something, if there's supposedly an emotional spectrum, which by the way they reference in Green Lantern stuff, if there's a willpower, you would think there would be other emotions, right?
That's why the brilliance of the idea. It was there all along.
Yeah, it's like there's no
what took them so long? What took them so long? I mean, you had 3 of them. Okay, technically 2 defined. Sinestro was not defined by fear. Let us be fair. Can we agree to that? Sinestro was not defined by the fear originally. It was just a yellow ring.
No, it was just a yellow power ring. They never even talked about what fueled it or anything like that.
Yep, but the Star Sapphires, love, it was there. They were connected to the Zamarans.
And the Zamor and when I showed Britt the Green Lanterns, the part that was the biggest like mind blowing, because it was mind blowing to me, is where it turns out that that what inspired the creation of the Zamarin Lantern was Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Oh, that was a great idea that Jeff created. That
Terrific.
was brilliant. Of course, then it got blown up.
Yeah, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant.
One question. Did you read the core issue yet?
I haven't. I'm going to do it after this.
All right, because we got to talk about that. Yeah. That is so good.
It's Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern. Yeah, of course it's going to be good.
Yeah, well, remember, he's going to be off of core after this event.
No, but for right now, it's Jeremy Adams. Of course it's going to be good.
Yeah, but again, you have all these people who don't pay attention to this work. I mean, has Jeff done great stuff? No. For one, you and I found out only recently. We kept on thinking he was responsible for Who is Wonder Woman. He wasn't. He had nothing to do with it. That was all on Heinberg.
Yeah, it's like even in the book, he's not credited at all.
And we were like, oh, whoops. I mean, not saying that was a bad story. In fact, so let's get to, even though I haven't even scheduled yet, we can give a little spoiler thing. We went over the Trinity 1 year later stories. It's just like it was originally. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in ranking order. But even when you look at that, like, okay, that was 1 year later. That was still part of post-crisis. But didn't those feel like fresh starts?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Superman felt like a great fresh start, didn't it? And Batman and Wonder Woman was the only one that was like too reliant on what came before. But again, it's when people look at it's like talking to people about Wonder Woman. You find out most of the stuff people know about with something here and there came from post-crisis. Wouldn't you agree with that? Isn't that crazy when you think about it? That most of the stuff we think about came from Perez because except for O'Neill and Marsden at the beginning, most people just saw it as a gig.
Yeah, it's like so. And here's the thing, and what so when I had John's long box on my channel, one thing he says that when you look at the post-crisis Wonder Woman runs, there really has never been a really bad one.
Nothing.
There's been ones that are like okay, but there's never been one like the Tom King run per se.
Yeah, but even Tom King, it's fun. You can at the very a lot could say bad, others could just say it's beyond mediocre.
Yeah, but let me put it this way: it's like I'm going through the Jimenez run right now because I have the omnibus, and it's like, look, is everything I like it? Do I like everything in there? No. Do I hate Trevor Barnes almost as much as I hate Lois? Yeah, but but is it like horrible? No. Is Diana respected? Yes. So I'm like, it is astounding how many good, how great post-crisis really was for Wonder Woman when you really think about it.
Right. By the way, congrats, Pika. Congrats.
Hey, congrats, man.
Yep, he's got to get the new SSD and RAM upgrades. Perfect. That'll be great. You can play. You can catch up with me on some of the games.
Hell yeah.
But here's the question: who is more intolerable, Steve Trevor or Trevor Barnes?
Okay, Trevor Barnes is more intolerable because it's such an unoriginal name, and it's such it's self-insert. Steve Trevor, it depends on the writer, because if they were to like, let's say they brought him back, but because they brought him back, he was aged up to be like the old man Steve Trevor from like the post-crisis. I think it would be less intolerable. It's just when people use him as self-inserts, they can be like, look, I could be with Wonder Woman. That's when I have the issue.
Exactly. And speaking of which, another video that we recorded a while ago that's going to be coming up in a few weeks. Boy, yeah, I got so many in the can, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
Was the return of Donna Troy, and we both liked it, despite his recent annual.
Which is included in the omnibus.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it wasn't a bad story, was it?
It really wasn't. Was it the best Donna Troy story? No. But was it actually pretty dope? I'll give it that.
And it definitely gave a good. It was a mini event. Let's be honest. It was a mini event.
You could think of it as a Teen Titans event, really.
Exactly. Where you introduced so much about Donna's history, you reworked it again. So talk about a character who's got Philly went to the ring or the mo. But hey, you remember what was our favorite line in it?
I forget.
2 failed marriages and I'm not even 30.
That was such a good line. I love that.
It had such a perfect line. She tells the Titan guy that she got married questionably to, I want a divorce, and then she says like 2 failed marriages, and I'm not even 30.
I just adore that line. See, that's why again I do like Jimenez's writing when he's not self-inserting, because he gets those snappy lines are so good.
How many characters in or out of DC can you think of? Not many.
No, but I'm saying when you look at like Wonder Woman, the fact that he was also a love interest is also the part where I'm like, okay, so you know, Steve Trevor, you used to be the Wonder Woman love interest. I want to do kind of like that, but I can't because he's old. So Trevor Barnes, and I go, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Besides, wasn't Steve married to Etta?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is like
they dropped that. Dropped that.
And Robert, you know that what I'm about to tell you is bad when even I'm criticizing it. It will make sense in a second.
Yep.
In the Day in the Life issue, when even Lois is lusted, I love the way Lois phrases it though. Isn't he beautiful? Yes, he is. He's not Steve Trevor. Looking back on it, it's so much sweeter. It's so much more of a dig.
And it's so obvious case of like, any of you keep thinking Steve Trevor, he's not Steve Trevor.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, why are you having Lois lust after Steve, lust after Trevor, just so you can admit he's like, and it's like, so Jimenez also wrote the Wonder Woman encyclopedia, and when they talk about Trevor Barnes dying, he goes, and Wonder Woman always thought he was the most beautiful mortal she had ever seen.
Beautiful, not hot or sexy.
And the way, but you would love, and by love I mean sarcastically, the way he describes Superman and Wonder Woman's relationship. He goes, when Superman first met Wonder Woman, he saw her as a very capable mate.
Oh, we should talk about Maxima here.
Because he was trying to like, and when you look at like his Batman entry, it's so glowing about his relationship with one. Because remember, this is the man. Then the Batman versus Superman special edition says, "I prefer Wonder Woman with Batman so she could be with the bad boy." Exact words, mind you. I rewound that 3 times. I'm like, did I just hear that right?
You think that's a joke, but clearly not.
It is not. I wish it were a joke, but that's literally what he said.
Yeah.
And I go, that's selfish.
Again, perfect mate.
Perfect mate. That's the way it is in the book.
I think that's why he's never written a Superman story before.
Yeah, because I'm like, rightly so. Because I'm like, no, Superman never considered Wonder Woman a mate.
Yeah. Now let's get back to the whole post-crisis, pre-crisis thing. Mm-hmm. I want to make one thing clear. I do not hate pre-crisis existing. Obviously, I can't. But I am one of those who feel, because I grew up with post-crisis, but whenever I look back at pre-crisis, I get enjoyment out of reading it. Don't get me wrong.
You just have to go into it knowing what you're getting into.
That, but also, I also personally feel like I'm grateful it's done.
Yeah, because at a certain degree, particularly at that point when you wanted to reboot everything and like modernize everything, a lot of that stuff had to go.
It did. And again, the fact with Batman, they didn't officially retcon it. They did. I mean, the fact is, look at Robin. You know, that's the funny thing. People say they didn't retcon anything. They retconned Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
Originally, his parents were killed by Killer Croc. Then it was his father was killed by Two-Face, and his mother died from a disease that didn't care how much love she had in her heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That is so oddly phrased, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember Superman's first meeting was Wonder Woman and Matt Wagner's trick? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised that what they didn't. It's funny though. It took years after that before they actually tried to make the Trinity a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the weird thing about it is that's the thing that like when Britt told me that I didn't know, because I thought the Trinity was always a thing, but it's like no, it was really started with Kingdom Come.
To a point, yes.
Yeah, the concept of the 3 of them together, but it was like there were other things that like contributed.
But like I said though, but my biggest issue with pre-crisis, especially for Superman, was, and I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. He was more Kal-El disguised as Clark Kent, which negates so much of the stuff he did, especially as Superboy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When you really look at it, he always looked at Clark as his disguise.
Mm-hmm.
What, in your mind, Jared, what does that say about how he probably views Ma and Pa?
Not very highly. Because remember, wasn't pre-crisis Superman like adopted?
Adopted by, well, first they found him, put him into an orphanage, and then maybe adopted him right afterwards. So they made it legal.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm. But there is I'm like, no.
But especially when they started adding stuff like apparently he can recall stuff as a baby and everything. You're like, oh, I just write something else. Here's something else from Mort Weisinger's era that I think people are going to love. Mm-hmm. It was during his era that they really were pushing. If Superman was going to ever marry someone, it would be Supergirl. But they can't because apparently on Krypton, you're not allowed to marry your cousin, and they must continue to uphold the laws of Krypton.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal to marry your cousin even here.
No, there's certain states where it is legal.
Only in America. But
you get my point.
I can't believe Superman actually said that. I really,
Peter David brought that up even.
When I see that, then I'm like, yes, burn it to the ground.
Yep, super courtship. Superman super courtship. And there was a point where, he tried to create a character, they tried to show off a character who was very much like Superman, like a superwoman. Only she had like a weakness that was to something more common on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and someone even says here, the story was written, drawn, and edited by men, and Mort Weichter in particular isn't known as a great bastion of feminist sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like I said, I gotta find that image. Where is that image?
Mm-hmm.
How long was Sweet Home Alabama been a meme?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Buzz. Yep. Hold on. I found it. Let me show you that image.
Mm-hmm.
Here's them when they're visiting because she's trying to take him to other places and all that. So, for example, they have a point where this moment with Saturn Girl, where it's like a second kiss under another mistletoe. Wedding bells get ready to chime. Of course, he's already Saturn Woman's already married to Lightning Man. So it's like, whoops. But I love it. Here's what I did. If I ever did marry, it would be to someone like you, someone super and lovable like you. We can't marry because we're cousins. Though cousins can marry in certain countries here on Earth, we're both from Krypton, where the marriage of cousins, it was unlawful.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
And
they're going down great, and the story that was meant to lead to her coming up with like, I'll find someone who's exactly like me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was meant to go for that, but still, it's like, what the hell? I mean, okay, I get it. It's not like Byrne who's trying to sneak in, that type of stuff in here. But it's still, you can see innocently, but it's still the fact that they made this whole
probably story. Like, well, they're aliens, but I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I'm like, no.
Again, the fact they put so much, this book could only exist on the Rule 34 website, Pika said, yes!
Yeah, that's so true.
I'm betting he's laughing his butt off. I'm betting Pika's laughing his butt off right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you have this. Now, Wonder Woman, I will say this. And she didn't lose that much, to be fair, when you really think about it.
No, it was largely consistent when you think about it.
Yeah, the only thing that got lost was the restart. Starting from the beginning in the modern day.
Yeah, I would say it's like the idea that they started fresh. Yeah, exactly.
And Batman, okay, let's look at it this way. Superman 1 was a hard reboot. Superman was the one that lost a lot, but gained more. Wonder Woman was the one that didn't lose anything, but gained a lot. Batman is the one that was a soft reboot, but a lot of heavy editorial edicts.
Mm-hmm.
And yet people, again, keep on acting like, oh, because again, that just drives me nuts when you see people say that. Like, to the point where they say, Dark Knight Returns is more of a masterpiece for Superman than Man of Steel.
The one where he's a government stooge? Taking it alone.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
They think because it's better, at least him being a government stooge is more believable than him being a hardcore, rah-rah Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, he's not even a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually look at that era, and Byrne is the type who might be a bit on the conservative side, but he does have some liberal, diverse viewpoints. And I don't just mean the stuff with, the younger ages stuff. I mean, in general. And like, people always like to bring up, oh, he shamed a disabled person. A disabled person who took over Superman's mind and almost assaulted Lois. I'm sorry. What?
Mm-hmm.
And yet people are just saying, like, come on, would you tell me? And would you agree? In that moment, Superman had every right to chastise that man.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like these people just look at like, how dare he yell at a disabled man and say, shame on you. And it's like, you guys don't even know the context. And if you give them the context, they act like it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get these fans. Are they fans? Are they even fans?
No, they're not. They're clearly not. You know what it probably is, Robert? This is what it probably is. There are fans that get clicks for being contrarians to what people like. So they're like, I need to be a contrarian. So it's like, I need to hate Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, Dark Knight Returns, Man of Steel.
Yeah, exactly. Or these are the type of people who snuck into things like Star Wars and eventually said, make it like what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like...
So a while back, I was talking about, I was doing a stream, and we were talking about like the difference between DC and Marvel, and someone legit was basically like, DC's heroes need to be 100% grounded and relatable and stuff. And I go, but their competitive advantage is that they're not like Marvel. They're supposed to be like the gods. And he goes, the DC doesn't have to be different from Marvel. And I go, okay, so you're a Marvel fan that wants everything to be like Marvel. I see.
So in other words, this is a guy who would have wanted Marvel to have bought out DC long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, here's something else. I just had it. Don't you hate it when you had a thought?
That happens to me so many times, bro. It's scary.
Hold on. I'm trying to remember it. It was... Oh, yes. Okay, I've talked to you about that Superman Now or Superman 2000 pitch. Remember the one that Morrison, Wade, and others were going, and Millar were working on, and all that?
Yeah.
That would have been year 2000. Remember when Lois and Clark actually got married? Was only like 97, 98-ish. That tells you, wait. Now, granted, yes, she had known since 91-ish. So she had been in the know, but not married. Mm-hmm. But yet their complaint was she, being married to him, or the secret being gone, when it's like, you kind of jumping the gun assuming the marriage is tanking when it's already been 2 years in.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you had it immediately after the marriage, you had the electric blue.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of seems a little unfair. And I'm sorry, it felt, and it pretty much was, these creators just didn't like it. And with Carlin away on vacation, they thought, let's try and steamroll everything with him out of the way, because he was always that wall.
Yeah, and I get it, but it's like, look, Superman editorial changes. Wait for another editor if you really have this story idea. Write it down, have it on a sticky note on your computer or your notebook, what have you, and then just do it then.
And let's be honest, but their idea would not have lasted. Let's be honest. That would have been like, it was so held by a spit and a prayer, especially if you take into account Millar and Morrison's falling out would happen not long afterwards.
Yeah.
Imagine if they started this whole new starting point right as Millar and Morrison had them falling out.
It would be a similar scenario if Jason Aaron said, screw you, Scott Snyder, and just left.
Exactly. But while they're trying to rebuild it, then they would have undone it fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, with as much clout as Wade had, he would not be able to hold it together.
Mm-hmm. Particularly back then.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, let's say like Carlin got promoted to somewhere else and he had no more say, so someone else allowed it. It would have fallen apart. It would have fallen apart.
Because how do you know he's not going to appoint someone that thinks like him or that he trusts? So it's like that's a gamble, and I get what they wanted to do. I just draw the line at. I get that you want to like try something new and maybe revitalize the line. I get that, but you can't go over your boss's head.
Exactly, and I'm sorry.
In any position, you can't do that.
And let's be honest on this. And I think New 52 kind of proved this. Nowadays, having Lois not be in the know on the secret kind of makes her a little. You have to force her into a story.
No, if you have a writer that actually has a Lois story, you can. If there's a Lois book at that point, yeah, you could do it. Yeah, exactly. Not like Greg Rucka.
Oh, yeah, right. But what I mean is that I'm just saying. But if you look at how little Lois really was in New 52.
So Superman Doomed, obviously Grant Morrison Action Comics had her in there. She was in Superman,
but here and there, but only here and there. She only got prominent with the Brainiac part.
No, I think she was in there a little more than what you're.
I gotta go back over that, but I'm just saying. But I'm just saying compared to how she was post crisis, even before the wedding.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: it's like. Short of like you having a journalistic story, it's like you don't need Lois to show up in everything. Particularly if Superman's not going to be married to Lois and he's going to be exploring another relationship, it's going to go in that direction.
That's true. That is very true. But I'm just saying,
it would be one thing if he was still married to her and she barely showed up. That would be one thing.
That's true. But my big issue is the fact that we're going to railroad it and have force the love triangle. I'm sorry, that love triangle does not work these days. Hey, the whole I love him but don't care for him. You can't hold that long these days.
Yeah, I would say so.
You got away with that back in the day because it was written for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Can we agree to that? That was like, ew, Superman, don't get together with her.
It's like, remember all those covers of Superman hugging other women like Lana and Diana, and Lois is like,
yeah, but again, it's like, you're laughing. Again, it was for catering to kids.
Mm-hmm.
And kids were like, ew, girls, yucky.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, that's a big reason why. That is a big reason why. And again, writers were writing this like it's throwaway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, a lot of the Superman, Batman writers took it more seriously than the Wonder Woman writers. We can agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they, at least you had editorial anyway, that demanded they make more.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman did not. Or if it did, it wasn't recognized. It didn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
But can you agree though? The love triangle is not sustainable these days. Not for a long status quo.
Not the way that like writers from that time period could write it. Like I'm sure modern writers could write it well. It's just not the way it used to be written. Definitely not.
Yep. And when you're going to enforce it saying, oh, he can never reveal himself to her or she'll die.
Yeah.
That is a disaster. That's a disaster.
I do love that's how they undid
the secret of
this reveal. I could say that on this channel. It's all good.
Yeah.
But that is hilarious. No. We're like, if you tell someone they get a heart attack.
Well, or a heart attack or a stroke or something. But for there, it kind of made sense there because it's all over the world and it's now, obviously they can figure out a way to have it lessened. Everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you focus just on Lois, that's the funny thing. It's fine when you do it to everyone else around the world besides those who know or those who are protected.
Yeah, but those that logically should know, like Bruce. I'm pretty sure Bruce should know.
Oh, the league still knows and everything. Yeah. But when you do it to just one person and you do it for the most painfully obvious of reasons, again, it's like one more day.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, that would have been Superman's one more day.
Here's the thing. As much as I hate Lois and hate Chloe and all that stuff, as someone that understands like the damage that One More Day did to the Spider-Man character, I would not wish that on any character except Wonder Woman, just despite Tom King.
I'm
sorry, I had to.
Let's be honest, there's a big difference. Chloe does, and I'm not talking about the Chloe's nuts. I'm not talking about the Chloe's crazies. I'm talking just about Chloe in general. it's been around since the beginning of the character.
But actually,
the idea of their relationship is what I mean.
No, it hasn't. See, Siegel and Schuster were very clear. They did not want him being with Lois.
From what I heard,
they've explicitly said this in interviews.
All right. I will look that up because I do remember when they did that one story, the K-Metal, it would have increased her up to be his partner and maybe more.
Well, it's like, did they tease it? Maybe, but it's like either Siegel or Schuster, one of them was like, yeah, we never wanted Superman to be with Lois.
Oh, now let me put it this way. With that K-Mail story, that would have been the biggest game changer of all. You know about that story, right? That would have given us kryptonite for the first time.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that story?
No, I need to.
And yeah, some fans actually cobbled together and had it remade.
Mm-hmm.
And did you know about that? They actually have, hold on, let me show you. It's from Superman Through the Ages, which, I'll be honest, that's the one thing I like to cite for, because they're the one who went for the Iron Age, where they dunked on everything post-crisis. Here we go. Here we go. The K-Metal. Now, we have this opening bit first here, but... yeah, here we go. Just look at this. All this is based off of Schuster's. It's drawn over it.
Cool.
But these are all based off of Schuster's roughs. And yeah, we would have had kryptonite long before they ever did it in the radio show.
That is actually really cool. I like that.
Yep, but yeah, they get sent out there and everything. And eventually the rock starts to make Superman weary and everything. And basically, it leads to this whole thing. It's mostly, Superman flies off, but he's getting affected because this thing, it's being in orbit that's causing the problem.
Yeah.
That tells you how powerful the radiation is here.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that. My strength's deserting me again. Can't hold out much longer. Mm-hmm. Again, this was Siegel and Schuster.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have had this major game change. And now Superman thinks maybe he'll have to be Clark Kent from now on. Again, we would have gotten more from Clark.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I find interesting about this. We would have had more from Clark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. But apparently also it makes humans stronger.
That is actually really interesting. I like that.
It would have done a flip-flop and everything, and eventually would have led to, with Lois finding out there underneath this whole mine, it's just a few of them here, and he feels like, I have no choice. I have to reveal my identity to Lois. Unless they do act, and promptly, Lois can't live much longer. Only one thing to do. One thing. And thus revealed it to them. Mm-hmm. And I still can't believe you. Clark Kent, Superman. No sooner do I give them life when they're back to their old tricks. Shoot them down on all that. But
that's great. I love that. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of Golden Age stuff that's like really fun.
Yep. But yeah, even right here, like now I begin to see your attitude of cowardliness. Again, this feels like a modern writing.
Yeah, exactly.
But this was Siegel back in 1940. Mm-hmm. Dude, think about that. 1940, 2 years into it.
Yeah.
And eventually, the two of them, I just remember how long you think have been laughing at me. I don't like to be laughed at, Clark, but I'll assist you only for the good of humanity. And I'm back in the doghouse again. Oh, well, I have a healthy suspicion that Lois will recover her temper and things will be between us will be ironed out in time. I hoped.
Yeah, exactly.
So in other words, they left a little wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, think about that. The fact that this could have been, and the fact that the K-Metal could have given human strength.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
yeah, exactly.
That would I'm still impressed by that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, again, it's the fact. But at the same time, I can also see why DC would be too fearful. That's too jarring. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, exactly.
Too jarring of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and back then, 2 years into it, But what does that tell you that Siegel thought that much ahead?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. But yeah, so I mean, it just makes you wonder, what if, right? Like, what if? I mean, it makes me almost feel like I want to come up with what could have happened in this new world. And just imagine that if there's all this kryptonite, but again, it can either weaken Superman and make humans stronger.
That I could like level the playing field, if you will.
It shift the balance of power, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
The
hierarchy of power on Earth is about to change.
Yep, I was trying to go for that. But yeah, but it just it was later revealed, although this website pulling this story from publication, DC had done so at the request of Jerry Siegel, who considered the perpetual unresolved love triangle to be a critical element.
Yeah, so he wanted that too.
He wanted the love triangle to stay. Like, this was the reason that although restoration was one point of DC was considered, it was ultimately canceled when Jerry Siegel objected. So in other words, Siegel chickened out.
Yeah, because he was like, no, I get, maybe he did it like they wrote it as like a what if, but it's like,
but he didn't do what if then, so yeah.
No, but you know the concept. It's like essentially, okay, so it's like from a story perspective, what would this look like? But then they're like, this kind of interferes with the way we want to write Superman, so no.
Yeah, but or maybe like we changed too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Because look at this. This was full done artwork. This wasn't like roughs or anything.
Yeah.
And the fact that Smallville took to take the elements from this of people getting powers from kryptonite. Think about that a second. It's like, But yeah, like this. I'm still always impressed that this story exists, don't you? Just by hearing about this, aren't you? Like, this would have been the game changer.
Yeah, exactly.
But, oh well, who can, again, we can only ask what if, correct?
Yeah.
But yeah, so any other topics you want to bring up? Because I asked for Q&A. Well, we have 5 people in the stream, so anyone got Q&As?
Yeah, go ahead and ask questions. Ask me to piss off Robert. I have a surefire way to do it.
Oh, I sure you do.
I mean, if you want, I can talk about the interview we did with Jason Lewis.
Oh, that was pretty awesome. Actually, quick thing. Did you watch the Godzilla versus Hulk Death Battle?
I haven't yet.
It is so good.
It's good.
It is so good.
Yeah. I bet I've heard. I knew they uploaded it because people started making memes.
Already, yeah. Especially would be like, oh, look what happened to my boys.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, so we had Jason on, and for those that don't know, he voiced Superman in Justice League Action, and the dude is a Superman fan, like through, and he gets it. He's a huge comic book guy. The dude understands it. He talked to Britt and I had like really deep conversations on what Superman means to him. He talked about how he identifies more of like the Kal-El side because he was adopted, and he gets that kind of outsider like mentality.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure.
I asked him Lois or Wonder Woman. And what he said, he basically just gave me like, here's the merits of Lois, here's the merits of Wonder Woman. I asked him Trunks versus no Trunks. He said, well, we didn't have Trunks in my in the show, so I'll say no Trunks. Right.
By the way, so B. Bailey brings up, I still prefer pre-Crisis Morgan Edge. Glad he came back in the Galactic Fight arc in Action Comics. All right. And Morgan Edge is always one of those hit and miss characters. I'll be honest, I won't remember his father Vinny Edge for being a creepy scumbag or harassed cat. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You got all sexual harassment suit charges and everything. It's like, but yeah, hey, that's great to hear about that, dude. That is great to hear about that. I'm glad you had him on.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and he's definitely going to be on more in the future. He's a really warm guy.
Nice.
So it's going to be really fun to have him on with the guys.
Yep. What else has he done lately? I'm curious.
Let's see, actually, because we were really focused on talking about Superman.
Right. Because I'm just curious on what he's done lately. That's all.
He even recorded. So now, Robert, I've joined the club of I have a voice actor that gave me, hey, you're watching this. And I'm like, yes.
Yep, I've got plenty of those.
Yeah, I know.
I don't mean to toot my own horn.
Sure you don't.
Okay, so, well, whoa, he did a lot of characters in the show.
Yeah, exactly. He talked about, so one of the things he said is that he actually auditioned for like 3 characters, and they, so it was like Superman, Space Cabbie, Joker, and Batman, I think is what he said. And then they brought him back for Superman.
And he was Gansett in Beware My Power.
Oh, cool. But the other thing he said that was very important is, because Britt asked him, were there any like did they recommend any Superman stories for you to read to prepare for the role? But he goes, no, but they didn't recommend I read anything. But what I did was I, on my own accord, went and brushed up to make sure I was representing the character well.
Nice. I prefer, and to be fair, there are plenty of actors who are willing to do that, and I always appreciate that.
Yeah, and it shows in the character because he gets Superman's voice.
Exactly. By the way, did you know the actress who did Wonder Woman, Rachel Kimsey, also did. Well, that I was going to say was she was also did Wonder Woman and Scooby Doo, and guess who?
Okay, that's interesting. That's funny.
Yep, and she was Betty Brant in Spider-Man 3: The Game.
Mm-hmm.
But wait. Oh yeah, Black Ops 3. You're right. But yeah, just looking up, so many different casts they had there.
Yeah, he told us great stories about about recording stuff, having chemistry with Rachel, obviously, because they went to Superman, Wonder Woman. They did it there. So he talks about, so the show started, they were doing Superman and Wonder Woman. When in the midpoint of the show, that was when Rebirth happened.
Uh-oh. Did that change anything?
No, they still did it.
All right. Were they worried though? Like, uh-oh.
Not really, but it's like the other thing he brings up is that they really don't have a clear answer as to why the show did not continue because it only had 1 season.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? It's like,
it's really good. It's an underrated show, honestly. It really is.
Yeah, it was also one of the last time we had Gilbert Gottfried as Mixie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a shame.
There's this great episode called Superman Red and Superman Blue where they split all of them. The Lex Luthor Red, where it's like, no, the inverse of Lex is a good guy.
Yeah,
like, that is so well done.
Wasn't there a kryptonite story where he got the one they had the pink kryptonite, but he became a woman and all that? Yeah.
There was also one where he got a cold and Wonder Woman had to go inside him, and she's like,
"This felt like Super Friends modernized."
It kind of was.
It very much was, but yeah, just looking through so many of the different people they had involved and all that. You got 52 episodes. 52 episodes. That's just wow, right? But yeah, I mean, I wish that show had continued, but I go to see why it was probably done under one regime and it got dropped by the later regime. And no, people, this is before Zaslav. Don't be going there.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let's bring it out since we brought up your show once. This constant dumping on, with Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman game.
Yeah, it would be one thing if it was a Lego Wonder Woman game, they dumped it and then went to Lego Batman. That would be one thing.
But there are people who are still saying, now granted, again, we've said it before, does Wonder Woman deserve more? Hell yes.
Yeah, I'll be the first to tell you that.
Of the Trinity, she deserves so much. But going the opposite direction is not going to help anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Going this whole, oh, we're going to dump on this legacy of Batman. It's like Lego Batman thing. It's like, guys, it's a guaranteed moneymaker. Can we agree to that?
Yeah.
It's a guaranteed moneymaker.
That's why there's more Batman stuff. Now, if Wonder Woman's sales improve and she becomes more of a character that DC has more confidence in, we could get more Wonder Woman stuff. Yeah,
but it's like this with the first Lego game that not do so well was the Horizon game, which TT Games did not do. You know that, right? That was the first of that style of Lego game that did not sell well.
It looked bad. It looked bad.
Actually, it wasn't that bad, but unfortunately, it was just a case of, really? Who asked for this?
Yeah.
It was a case of who asked for this more so than it was it sucked. Because I played through it. It wasn't that bad. I mean, I gotta say, playing the Lego games, it's been great going back through them again. They're long.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want 100% it, they're long. And I'll be honest, I'm always a guy who looks up the codes to type in Bailey saying, say what you will about Tom King's Run. I'm wondering.
No, it's not. No, it's clearly not. I'm sorry, dude. It's not. Look it up.
Let's not go there. Yeah.
Trust me, I have plenty of content about why it's doing well.
Yeah, I understand. But
like this way, compare that to Absolute Wonder Woman. Okay, I'm done. I promise. I'm not gonna take over your show, Robert.
Yeah. Besides, Absolute Wonder Woman is, But anyway, hold on. Okay, yeah. But basically, with the Lego games, like what Lego games have you played?
I've played all the Star Wars ones, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, the first one. I've played every Lego DC game and every Lego Marvel game. So I played a lot.
I own them all.
Which I love them. They're fun. See, here's the thing. Even the older ones, I'll just plug them in if I just want to like fool around for a little bit.
Yep. I have Lego Harry Potter. I even got the collection recently since they actually improved things a little bit here and there. Lego Jurassic World, Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, City Undercover, that's their original game. The Indiana Jones games, the Marvel games, the Batman and DC game, Incredibles, Pirates, all the Star Wars games, even the Horizon game, and the movie games, including Ninjago. I got them all. I even have the 2K Drive game, the racing game.
Yeah, and it's like, when you look at Batman, the thing that I like about it, it's not dramatically, it's changing the formula, which we all know they kind of needed that at this point.
Well, to be fair, Skywalker Saga got them to that point already.
Saga showed they could do it.
But it's also showing that it takes a longer time. Look how fast they chugged out those old ones, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, granted, they were making improvements on those games that they went on. There were improvements.
Yeah, exactly.
Look between Harry Potter's years 1 through 4 and then 5 through 7. It's night and day.
Oh, it's like Lego Star Wars 1 and Lego Star Wars 2, the original saga. That's dramatically different.
And then you have the complete saga.
The complete saga is the definitive. It's not even a good Lego game. It's a great Star Wars game.
Yep, and then you had 3 of the Clone Wars, The Force Awakens, where they actually had the actors involved. Same with Jurassic World.
You can play as Captain Rex fighting Captain Phasma.
And you have Jurassic World, where you actually have Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard do original dialogue.
I love that game. I just started playing that. I love that game so much. It's so much fun.
It's a mixture of doing new dialogue with the archived dialogue.
It is so much. That Lego Jurassic Park game legit is one of my favorite Lego games. It's so much fun.
I'm glad they didn't try to do follow-ups. I'm glad they didn't run out with the other.
Can you imagine your Fallen Kingdom and the other one?
Well, I mean, I will not. Actually, I'll be honest. I will not be surprised if they end up doing it eventually. A follow-up.
I imagine they'll do the other ones down the line because, like this way, the way Lego typically does is they cover all the movies of the franchise that they do. They eventually do.
They're probably going to do another Marvel Avengers, I bet.
Okay. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Lego Infinity Saga.
Oh, here's a big question, and I think obviously we already know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. What is more likely to happen? NetherRealms DC versus Marvel, or Lego DC versus Marvel?
Lego versus DC versus Marvel. Lego already has the license to both, and it's like all you gotta do is get the approval. Which Legos? Because here's the thing: with a Lego DC Marvel crossover game, as opposed to like Injustice, like a NetherRealm game, I guarantee you, Disney's gonna be less likely to say yes, rip Captain America's head off, a Superman.
Exactly. But here, you could be like, break them to pieces.
Yeah, it's fun. Is it there? Yeah, that I think you could definitely do it.
Oh, imagine Bane versus Hulk. with the big figures.
I'm looking forward to the character customization for that. The creations people are going to make.
See ya, Pika. See ya.
Yes, see ya, dude.
But yeah, and I'd say the DC supervillain, I love the villain customization on that.
Oh yeah, bro. I made Homelander. I made a Wonder Woman variant. What if she's a female Fury? I made as a memorial comic historian.
Right.
I made
a female character with long blonde hair, but I always make sure she had a cape on. And she always had lightning powers. I
made Zeus.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that thing. That's one of the rare cases of a customization working well.
Yeah, exactly. And they actually have like the fact that the thing I really liked about supervillains is that your Lego character was part of the story. He was in the cutscenes.
Exactly. They were in the cutscenes, everything.
And then you could choose at the end of the game, is he a hero or a villain? Now that's like an arbitrary choice, but still, that's kind of cool. I like that.
And anyone complain, why haven't they continued on? Again, you guys realize the DC supervillain saga led right into Skywalker Saga.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Skywalker Saga, it's proven they're going to take much longer to do these games now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, come on, look at the fact they're pretty much emulating Arkham Knight in this whole game.
Yeah, exactly. It's very Arkham inspired.
Dude, they have Riddler trophies.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Lego version of the Arkham games.
I have to wonder how many people from Rocksteady jumped on over.
I wouldn't be surprised. And
they probably like, let's do this. But the fact that you know what? Why do I have a feeling this has been in the works since Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League started?
They're like, redeem DC games.
Well, no, I'm saying since it started, because clearly this has been for production for years. Again, these games, again, as Skywalker Saga show, because they're the reason why people kept expecting, like, why isn't it out yet? Once it came out, they're putting in effort.
Exactly.
Not saying the other games didn't put in effort. They did.
Mm-hmm.
There was just too much wash, rinse, repeat. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, a lot of them did. Yeah, exactly.
Not saying they were bad. In fact, there's only one Lego game I can name that's bad. And that was the second Lego movie game, because it doesn't even follow the movie much. It feels like they took one of their Lego world and put it in there because they were it was such a last second thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was so. Well, and the only other one I have a problem with, because it's incomplete, Lego The Hobbit, because they never did the DLC.
Yeah, I know.
That still bothers me.
Lego Lord of the Rings, I also have. It was kind of funny. When I was playing that game, my dad walked by my room, and you hear like the Ride of Rohan theme, and he goes, "Wait, are you watching the Lord of the Rings movies?" It's such a good game. That's the thing. They're so much fun.
They are. Again, they can get
I'm almost
cheated.
30 years old and I love those games.
I'm 40 and I love.
Man, my God.
Bite me.
You old Lois lover. I'm only kidding. You know
that's part of the reason why I like her so much. I grew up with her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but seriously though, it's just I've been going through the Shantae games.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, when is Shantae 1 ever going to get ported to PC? I am so tired of waiting and waiting. Mm-hmm. I have to do emulators for that. Here's a big question. What is the biggest game in the next year you're looking forward to the most?
Lego Batman.
Well, there's that. But for me, up until Lego Batman, it was going to be 007 First Light.
Yeah, that's a good one. Honestly, it's either that, but I'm looking forward to this because I'm going to play Helldivers, and they added a ODST crossover, so you can play as Halo soldiers in that game.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Now all I got to do is port over like God of War, and I'm golden.
But did you hear apparently that Assassin's Creed Mirage did a surprise DLC?
I love how that's happening. It doesn't surprise me because Arkham Knight did that when they added in the Battinson suit.
Well, yeah, but that's more of a case of a minor DLC. This is what I heard was a big DLC.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, how long have they been working on this?
Mm-hmm.
Now, wait, wasn't it supposed to be the DLC that was supposed to be dropped?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess they changed their mind or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, again, going over so many of these games. Oh, there's one game that's coming out in a few days that I'm looking forward to because, okay, imagine this. Bendy, you know about the Bendy games, right?
No.
Bendy Ink Machine. Bendy and the Ink Machine, it has that 2D style, but it's like a first-person shooter.
Mm-mm.
Okay, a Cuphead.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
So think about it's like that, but from a first-person perspective. There's this game called Bad Cheese. It's basically like Bendy or Cuphead, first-person Cuphead, but it's a psychological horror.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, in fact, I'll send you the link to the trailer quickly for it because get your thoughts on it because I'm not gonna show it or anything because I'm on Firefox, can't do that. So hold on, Bad Cheese trailer. Here we go. Cause yeah, it releases in a week. Oh, love Superman smashes the Klan and Bailey. By the way,
that's a really good story. I love that story.
Yep,
one of my favorites.
Yep, put it in the private chat.
If there's a list of like underrated Superman stories, Smashes the Klan is that.
Yep, I put it in your yeah, right there.
Oh, so. Wow.
Yeah, your audio got cut off.
Oh yeah, it's really interesting. I like that. That was cool.
Yeah, it's like but you see what I mean? No psychological horror and everything. You're just like, what the hey? But yeah, I played through the demo. It's nerve-wracking. It's like but yeah, see, 007 First Light, I am so there.
Yeah, exactly. It looks really fun. The idea that we're finally getting early James Bond.
Yep. Oh, by the way, did you hear about with Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection why some of there are certain games not involved?
Why?
It's either they are unable so far to do PS2 emulation. That's why we don't have Deception or Shaolin Monks, or rights issues, hence Ultimate MK3, or those are the main issues, really.
Yeah.
Or they're not so good at emulating N64 games yet.
That makes sense. I'll give it that.
So it's like, oh, by the way, I'm also looking forward to that new Shinobi game. Who'd have thought we'd get a new Shinobi game of all things? You know what Shinobi is? That was one of the original Sega Master System games. It's that side-scrolling, you're a shinobi, a ninja.
Yeah, I know that.
The fact that they're doing a new one that matches the quality of the old stuff. It's by the same guys who did the Ninja Turtles remaster. On Ninja Turtles 4. No, Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Interesting.
Same people. It's like, yes, please. Like I say, I'm so glad 2D style animation games are making a comeback. I am so glad because I was so worried that we were going to get nothing but 3D for so long.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we're starting to wind down. So, and any other final things to say?
Actually read stuff before you criticize the people on the internet. I think that's really important. That's
a big one. Grew up reading pre-crisis and I'm a big fan of Megan Baked. Okay, the Bronze Age of Superman just got away. It seems we're starting to get on the right track.
Yeah.
But it was too little too late.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah, I agree with that, Jared. And, well, I'll just say I concur with that. So, thank you for joining me, Jared. Thank you, everyone else. Keep on checking. Oh, tell me where they can find you. I got to get the hang of that.
It's all good. You can find me at Comics League, and I have a video coming out this week on the actual history of the mythological Amazons.
Yep. And you know where to check me out. I'm one video away from wrapping up the Just Imagine Stan Lee stuff that coverage that Pika and I have been doing. I'm still going to go. I got all of the videos for Peter David's Supergirl I've been doing with Brit in the can. And I'm building up to 600 where I'll cover Watchmen.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see you guys all on the next one. Take care.